Now, my next guest is a rock legend who just keeps on going. So much so he's been called the Peter Pan of rock. Tonight he's performing the song which sealed his reputation as a groundbreaking artist. Here singing Ziggy Stardust, ladies and gentlemen, David Bowie.
Jamming good with weird and giddy. The spiders from Mars. Well, he played in left hand, but he made it too far. Became a special man. Then we were Ziggy's band. Ziggy really sang. Screwed up eyes, screwed down hairdo. Some cat from Japan. He could kill him by smiling. He could leave him to have. Kind monks out loud man. Well hung so white tan. So where were the spiders? While the flies tried to break our bones. To be a light to guide us. So he bitched about his hands. Should we cross his sweet hands? No. Oh yeah. Ziggy played for time, jiving us up. Kids was just class. He was an ass with God-given ass. He took it all too far. But boy, could he play guitar, making love with his ego. Ziggy sucked up into his mind. Like some leper messiah. When the kids did kill the man, I had to break up the band. No! Oh, no, no, no. Now Ziggy played guitar.
David Bowie, and David will be performing another song and chatting later on in the show. OK, more music now. David Bowie has sold 120 million albums and is going to significantly add to that number with his new album called Reality. Here singing The Loneliest Guy, a song from the album. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, David Bowie.
Picking up from something you said, I always wanted to be a 5'2" black musician, Little Richard, but
that's what you wanted to be, was
yeah,
it?
I think surgery wouldn't have helped at all.
I met Little Richard. I met Little... He's not little. He's about 7 feet high. You didn't
That's
know
the other Little Richard. No, that's his big brother.
Big Little Richard.
Big Little Richard, yeah. But he's got funny eyes. Did you notice that? Yeah, he's got these. He's got my eyes.
Has he?
Yes,
Odd eyes.
it's a deal we made. Swapping eyes. Nice book of poetry. That first poem is really funny. That's really good.
That's music to my ears.
Yeah, the book of my enemy has been reminded. Yes!
It was a true emotion, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
a very
great
rock
form
and
of
roll
revenge,
kind of thing, that sentiment in that. Yeah. What, his album? Oh, no, really? Nobody's buying it? God, no.
Yes.
It's a really horrible, but very human trait.
Did you ever think of... do you ever write poetry yourself?
No. No, I'll just stay with the rock lyric. It's what I do best, and the poetry that I have written always looks like it needs a melody with it, and that's what ends up. Well, it's a poem. This time it'll be a poem, and you know, it goes down like a poem. But then I thought, and I end up reading it like that.
Yes.
But I can't write on tour because I'm touring at the moment.
But I know that. But
It's not anything I can do on tour.
I can't imagine that you... How old are you now? You're what?
I've got 70 in 3 weeks' time. Something like that.
You're not
So I'm doing better than both of you, yeah?
You did
Really good.
But
Do you know, I thought about that. It's only 13 years for me to be 70. And that's only as long as I've been married to my wife, you know. That's 13 years. So I looked at, well, how long's that going to feel from now till 70? So I went... kind of went backwards through time, 13 years to when I first met my wife. Do you know, it's not long.
It's not, is it?
No, it's really just round the corner.
As you get older, things gallop away from you, like the years gallop
They
away.
certainly do. Friends and everything.
But there's one big advantage. There's one big advantage which he's not going to need. You know? There's one big advantage, and you're not going to admit to, and that's the bus pass. I just got mine, you know. Yeah. I can travel free.
Buy your own bus, it's easier.
Yeah.
How very rock and roll. Buy your own bus. But do you ever imagine you'll be touring as long as you've been touring? I mean, what? I mean,
No, I mean, you know, I had this poetic, romantic, kind of juvenile idea that I would be dead by 30, you know, because that's all artists think. I'll be dead by 30, you know, I'm going to get TB and die and loss of blood, Audrey Beardsley and all that. And, but you don't, you know, you get past it and then suddenly you're 30 and you're 40 and then you're 50 and 57 and all that. And it's a new land, you know. Sure. I'm a pioneer. Me and my kind.
That's right.
Christopher Isherwood. Me and my kind are just sort of scraping the edge of what this thing is about being a rock and roller at 57. Right. But my revenge is all these bands that are below us, you know, they've got to do this. So they're kind of saying, yeah, they're like really old. But secretly they're thinking, I better watch how he does it because I'm going to get this.
Because there's no precedent.
Travis, you know, sitting there. I bet he dyes his hair. That's never flattered.
Well, that's true. I mean, you're the first generation, of course. No precedent.
Do you know, it's funny we're talking about toupees. I wonder if I should name him. No, I better not.
Go on.
Celebrity, no, I can't do that. It's not my thing. My hairdresser used to work for him and was sacked because he didn't glue his toupee down properly for stage one night. And he has a fan in front, like we all do, to keep us cool, you know. And the fan was going, he was doing something very attractive and highly sensitive on the guitar. And his toupee was like a little... this dancing furry animal on the top of his head. And the audience were like in fits. They were falling into the aisles from the sensitive, you know, very socially serious kind of writer. And he went apeshit after this.
I used to have I've sat opposite and peered at some of the best tubes in the business, as you can imagine, for my job, yes. And I used to have that irresistible urge to pull one off. I used to have to sit on my hands at times, because I sit there thinking...
You have to make sure, though, that they've got one, because sometimes they look as if they've got one.
I could see the canvas. These are the days when the tubes are not like that.
See, Ronald Reagan did not wear a tube. Ronald Reagan, they used to take him at night while he was asleep and dip him upside down in a bath full of ink. So his hair was black. Somebody once said he was prematurely orange. But I tell you one thing about him for sure, he did not wear a wig. He just looked as if he wore one.
I see, yeah. Right. You could make a very bad mistake.
Whereas I saw Charlton Heston once in Hollywood.
He wasn't really a president, he just looked as if he wasn't.
OK. What about what's the difference now, touring now, and touring as that manifestation you had over there, Ziggy? What's the difference?
The big difference, probably, Jordan's breasts are even bigger now than in Ziggy's day, I guess. Well, you know, this God came to me and he said, let there be Ziggy. And I said, what's he going to look like? He said, like Eddie Izzard without the breasts, you know. So it was hard because Eddie wasn't around. Eddie came to the show the other night, and do you know what? We didn't talk about high heel shoes. We talked about machine guns and different types of artillery. And
was he in female mode? I mean, was he?
No. He was Eddie mode, I suppose. He was just, you know, a simple nail varnish and a cashmere sweater. He's thoroughly charming, but his violence crazy, you know. He's like totally into the army thing, and he loves talking about, you know, operations and how you defeat the enemy and with lipstick and handbags.
But what was Ziggy about? I mean, what was that gay Martian?
It was on the premise was men are from Mars, I'm from Bromley. I'm just a bit different from other men in that way, you know, and I just saw the world in a bit of another kind of fashion. And it was sort of, I don't know, it was about pushing together all the pieces and all the things that fascinated me culturally, everything from kabuki theatre to Jacques Brel, you know, and to Little Richard, to drag acts, and everything about it was sort of a hybrid of everything I liked. Because it seemed to me that rock and roll was such fundamentally an American thing that they believe in. They still do believe it to have an intrinsic American value, you know. And I knew it wasn't English, so we weren't really rock and rollers. We were kind of just playing around with the idea of rock and roll. I thought, well, let's take that to the next stage. How far can you talk about rock and roll, but with using rock and roll? It got quite arty in that way.
And what about I mean, it's very, very sort of theatrical as well. And
yeah.
What's been curious is that you've never actually explored that avenue, the theatre, musical theatre, if you like, because...
No, it's... I've been
not?
approached several times, but it's been the usual thing about cobbling together a lot of my songs and developing a rather dodgy storyline to go along with it. I don't want to do that, you know. I mean, I quite like the idea of writing something musically theatrical for a stage, maybe a travelling stage, like a rock and roll tour in some way, but I don't like musical theatre very much, believe it or not.
No.
I actually don't get off on it, and I think it's pretty crappy, both on Broadway and in London. I don't think it's got much to give.
But when you talk about travelling theatre there, there's an echo, isn't there with your father?
Yes, there was.
Because your father...
Right. Yeah, I know.
I mean,
yeah,
tell me... I didn't...
Well, he was orphaned very young.
Yes.
He was about 4 years old, in fact, and so he never knew his parents. Mum was killed in the First World War, and his mother died tragically not long after that. And he went into care, and then he went to live with one of his aunts. But he was left all this money when he was about 16 years old. And so he bought a theatre troupe. Oh, what a wise idea. And he toured it into the ground. It never made a penny, but the little that he had over, he opened up a nightclub for boxers and wrestlers and gangsters in London, which also folded up very quickly. Then he got an ulcer, duodenal ulcer, and then he had a dream, and the same God that told me about Ziggy said, go into children's homes. So he started working for a charity organisation from that point, and worked there, Dr. Bernardo's, for the rest of his life.
He sounds a remarkable man, actually.
Not now, he's dead.
No.
But he was. He was remarkable.
And obviously had an influence on you, because, I mean...
Yeah.
Bound to have, because you think of the echoes that there are.
Well, I tell you what, he had all these books from, is it Reader's Book Club or one of those things? And they want the same cover, a bit in different colours. And but they were quite wonderful books, and so, you know, I got my first taste of Hemingway and things like that.
Yeah.
Because you get one every 2 months or something. They come through the post, you know.
Yes.
And I'd read them after him. So between him and my half-brother, I kind of, you know, got quite a good...
He was a Yorkshireman too, of course. You missed that most important part.
Tadcaster. Yeah, that's the most...
You missed the most important part out there.
Yeah.
Let's go back to what Victoria was talking about. I mean, you've gone through all this celebrity bit, haven't you? With knobs on.
I didn't like it, yeah.
You didn't?
Yeah.
You're talking in the past tense.
Yeah.
You've still got it?
Well, no, you see, I mean... I don't know, it's just a personal choice, I guess, but I kind of opted out of it, you know, and I'm not a secretive person, but I live a quite private life, you know, my wife and I, and we just find that we're happiest in a place where we can remain and live our life on a day-to-day basis very anonymously, and we actually find that in New York. It's just very easy for us, and it's a way of living that we like.
Yes. But America, it's better in America, isn't it, for people like
some
yourselves?
parts of America. I think New York downtown, where we are.
You can be more anonymous there.
Oh,
than
yeah,
anywhere
because,
else.
well, one thing, it's always been kind of an artistic area, I guess. There's a lot of painters and musicians and writers down there. The flavour of it is more kind of a little more cosmopolitan feeling and fairly sophisticated in that way. They don't really, you know, they're not...
But having said that, of course, I mean...
Funny hair. Make it sign something. You know, you don't get that down there, but you do in LA and you do in Paris, and my God, you get it in London, don't you? I mean, it's a nightmare, you know, this country, really.
Why
I
do you
love
think?
the audiences, and I love your little people, you know, and all that, but I can't stand the intrusion of the press, so I just don't put up with it.
Mind you, having said all that about New York, of
Yeah.
course, I mean, it's a dangerous place because...
It's a dangerous place here.
But
This place is very
John
dangerous.
Lennon got-
Really dangerous stuff happens in this country.
Yeah, but talking about the celebrity...
Well, you're emphasising something that happened once,
Well,
many years
of course,
ago.
of course. But-
What happened to George Harrison? I don't know, the Queen, somebody... you know, it's
Yeah.
not just New York.
Yeah.
That's rubbish. It's like saying the terrorists will only ever attack New York. You know, I wouldn't bank on that.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm. But you knew Lennon, didn't you?
Yeah, very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You met him through Liz Taylor.
I'm messing through Liz Taylor. She wanted me to do... There was this... She handed to me what she's purported to be a script. This thing called I can't even... Bluebird.
Yes.
Bluebird? Firebird?
Bluebird,
I don't know, it wasn't
it's called.
Stravinsky. Far from Stravinsky. It was Bluebird. And she said, read this and make it with me and be my, you know, leading man in it. It was such an awful script. And I was so excited when she handed it to me. Oh, Liz Taylor's giving me a script, you know, and we're in Hollywood and I'm 13 years old, you know. And I go through... Oh, no, it wasn't. That was a lie. There's something... He was never 13. And I go through this. It was absolutely awful. And, but she did invite me to a wonderful party that she threw, and I met Lennon there, and we went on to a great relationship over the years. Terrific guy, very, very funny guy.
Do you have any plans at all?
No. I think I've got that. No, my crushing fear is that I would have to study acting and all that. And I'd love to be a film star. I kind of fancy that, you know, because you get the name on the poster and the big picture, and they airbrush all the lines out, and you know, it's fantastic. You're 30 foot tall, but you've got to do all this work to do that. You know? Nah, let me just kind of rock and roll. I mean, that's where my heart is, and I like doing that work. It's accumulated so many methods of working itself out, rock music, and it's taken on board so many other kinds of information from other musical styles.
That's what it's about.
It's really growing and developing that way.
OK, well, you're part of all that. Thank you again for coming and being my guest tonight.
It's my absolute pleasure.
David Bowie. My thanks to David Bowie, to Clive James and to Victoria Beckham. This is our last show in the current series. We return in the new year, so thank you for watching. And from us here, a very, very good night. Good night.